The cold moon of Varela 9 hung like a dying eye in the endless black sky. The colony lights shimmered far below its metal domes, glowing faintly through the thin mist. It was the day of a strange wedding, one that no one in the galaxy had ever dared to imagine. The humans stood on one side of the glass hall, the aliens on the other. No one smiled. No one celebrated. It was not a wedding of love. It was a contract of peace. And in the center of it all stood Eli Voss, the blind human man. He could not see the banners or the faces that stared at him with disgust, but he could feel them. The cold air, the shifting boots, the quiet anger that filled the hall like smoke. Across from him stood Lyra of the Xilari, the Alien Outcast. Her skin shimmered like dark glass, faintly glowing with blue veins beneath. Her large silver eyes did not blink. She looked neither proud nor ashamed, only tired. When the priest spoke, his voice trembled. "This bond is made not of hearts, but of duty," he said. "Human and Xilari, joined to end centuries of war." A whisper rippled through the crowd. "They're forcing him." Another voice hissed. "A blind man and a monster? Disgusting." Eli heard every word. He said nothing. He had been chosen not for his strength, but for his weakness. A blind man could not judge beauty. A blind man could not rebel, but Eli's mind was not as dark as everyone thought. Even without eyes, he sensed things. The hum of lights, the faint pulse of the walls, the rhythm of hundreds of heartbeats, and then something else. A whisper, soft and cold, like wind moving through stone. "You see more than they know." Eli turned his head slightly, confused. Who said that? But no one answered. The voice wasn't human. It wasn't alien. It was deeper, older. Lyra's eyes flashed. She had heard it too. When their hands touched, the air grew heavy. The lights above flickered. A low vibration moved through the floor like the heartbeat of the moon itself. Everyone froze. The priest hesitated, his words stumbling. "Do you accept this bond?" Eli's throat felt dry. He wanted to speak, but the voice returned, louder this time inside his head. "Say yes, human. The truth waits for you in the dark." He swallowed hard. I do." Lyra slowly nodded. "I do." The hall erupted in uneasy applause. Peace was declared. The cameras flashed, but deep under the floor, something old shifted in its sleep. After the ceremony, they walked together through the silent corridors of the moon colony. Eli moved carefully, guided by Lyra's soft hand. The air smelled faintly of metal and dust. "You can let go," he said quietly. "I can walk alone." Lyra's voice was strange, smooth like glass. "You cannot see the ground, human." Eli smiled faintly. "No, but I can feel it." He could feel her pulse, fast and nervous. She was not as calm as she looked. Finally, they entered their new quarters, a small dome with one window that showed only the black sky. Lyra sat near the glass, watching the stars. Eli stood still, head tilted, listening to the hum of the room. "There's something alive here," he whispered. Lyra turned sharply. "What do you mean?" "The walls. They're breathing." Lyra's silver eyes widened. No human had ever said that before. Her people believed the moon itself was alive, a living machine that recorded every word and thought of those who lived inside it. But humans called it myth. "You should not say such things," she warned. "The moon listens." Eli tilted his head. "Then maybe it's time someone listens back." That night, while Lyra slept, Eli sat alone by the cold metal wall. He ran his fingers over it and felt faint vibrations, not random but rhythmic like a pulse. He whispered, "Who are you?" The same cold voice answered softly from the wall. "You are blind, yet you see. They fear you because the truth hides in sight." Eli's heart pounded. He pressed his ear against the metal. "What truth?" But the whisper faded, replaced by silence. From the corner of the room, Lyra spoke, her tone trembling for the first time. "You heard it too, didn't you?" Eli turned toward her voice. "Yes," he said slowly, "and I think it knows me." The moon outside glowed brighter as if watching them. Their marriage had begun, not between human and alien, but between two souls chosen by something far greater. And deep beneath the surface of the moon, something ancient opened its eyes. The night after the strange wedding felt endless. The moon colony of Varela 9 was silent yet never still. The metal floors hummed with a low vibration, like something breathing beneath the surface. Eli could not see it, but he felt everything. Every hum, every echo, every heartbeat around him. He sat alone in the darkness, his blind eyes open but unseeing. Yet inside his mind a faint glow shimmered, shapes of energy pulsing like fireflies behind his eyelids. It had started after he touched the wall last night. Now every sound painted a picture. Every breath drew lines of light in his mind. He saw Lyra before she even entered the room. Her energy moved like soft waves, trembling with sadness and fear. "You didn't sleep," she said quietly. "I don't think I can," Eli replied. "The air, it whispers to me." Lyra's glowing eyes narrowed. "You're hearing the moon again?" He smiled faintly. "No, I think it's showing me." When Eli walked through the corridors later, the world around him came alive in strange ways. He could feel the guards standing behind the walls. He could sense every power wire, every heartbeat, every hidden drone buzzing behind metal vents. To others, he looked like a blind man walking slowly, tapping the wall with his hand. But in his mind, he was walking through light, endless streams of it. At the far end of the corridor, a group of alien soldiers whispered, "Why does he walk like that?" One hissed. "He acts like he sees us." "He can't," another said. "He's human, and blind." Eli stopped. His lips curved into a small smile. "I can hear you," he said calmly, facing directly toward them. The soldiers froze. Lyra found him later standing on a high platform above the colony. Below them, the domes glowed faintly like glass eggs in the darkness. "Eli," she said softly, "you must not draw attention. The council watches." He turned toward her voice. "They already are," she frowned. "How do you know?" "I can feel them," he said. 7 minds behind that tower. They stare at us even now." Lyra looked at the tower. 7 small windows glowed faintly. Her voice turned sharp. "That's impossible. No human or alien can sense that." Eli reached out a hand, touching the railing. Maybe blindness opened something else. The whisper came again, cold, deep, and ancient. "Sight is a prison, but you are free." Eli's head snapped back, the voice echoing in his skull. He staggered. Lyra grabbed his arm. "What is it?" He gasped. It spoke again. "It's inside my head." They went back to their quarters, locking the door behind them. The lights flickered as they sat across from each other. Lyra looked tense, her silver eyes glowing brighter. "You should not listen to it," she warned. "That voice destroyed my people once." Eli frowned. "Destroyed?" She nodded. "Long ago, before humans came, the moon spoke to the Zalari. It promised power. It gave visions. But those who listened changed. They went mad." He leaned forward. "Then why am I not afraid?" Lyra stared at him. "Because you do not know what it can do." Eli took a deep breath. "Maybe it's not trying to destroy me. Maybe it's showing me something everyone else ignores." He raised his hand, and for a brief second, the air between them shimmered. Lines of light danced like threads, connecting Lyra to the walls, the floor, the world beyond. She gasped, seeing her own reflection glowing faintly in his eyes. "Eli," she whispered. "You're seeing me." He smiled faintly. "Not with eyes. With truth." The moment was broken by a deep rumble beneath their feet. The floor shook. The lights dimmed to red. An alarm echoed through the dome. Lyra stood instantly. "Stay here!" Eli shook his head. "No, it's not outside. It's below us." He turned toward the wall, his hands trembling. The voice returned, louder this time, like a storm inside his skull. "They dig too deep. They wake what sleeps. You must stop them." Eli fell to his knees, clutching his head. Lyra knelt beside him, terrified. "What is it saying?" she shouted. He looked up, his blind eyes glowing faintly white. "It says, something's alive under the moon." That night, Lyra went to the council. She demanded answers, but they laughed. "The human is broken," they said. "Blind men hear ghosts. Ignore him." But when she returned, she found Eli standing by the window, whispering into the dark. "What are you saying?" she asked quietly. Eli didn't turn. "It's teaching me to see." He raised a hand toward the stars, and for a heartbeat the glass wall rippled, like reality itself had bent around him. Lyra took a step back, her voice shaking. "Eli, what are you becoming?" He smiled, calm, distant, and a little sad. "Maybe something the light can't lie to anymore." The moon pulsed once, and a silent heartbeat across the sky. And somewhere deep below, the sleeping thing began to stir. The next morning, the colony felt different, too quiet. The air inside the metal domes hung heavy, almost afraid to move. Eli woke to the faint sound of Lyra's voice. She was standing near the window, whispering in a language he couldn't understand. Her voice was soft, almost singing, but every note carried a tremor, a hidden fear. When she turned, her silver eyes caught the dim light. "You shouldn't listen to the moon anymore," she said quietly. "It remembers those who hear it." Eli sat up slowly. "You're talking like it's alive." Lyra looked away. "Because it is," he frowned. "You've been keeping something from me." Her silence was the answer. For a long time she said nothing. The low hum of the colony filled the space between them. Then finally she spoke, her voice low and shaking. "I was born in the lower domes," she began, "where the walls breathe and the shadows whisper." She walked closer, her long fingers tracing the air as she spoke. "The Zilari people say the moon is a guardian, an ancient being that watched over us. But long ago it began to speak. At first it taught us, gave us dreams of light and knowledge." Her voice hardened. "Then the dreams turned dark. It began to choose people, those who could hear its voice. We called them the touched. They saw things no one else could. But slowly they lost themselves. The moon filled their minds until nothing human or alien remained." Eli listened, every word burning into his thoughts. "And you? You were one of them?" Lyra's jaw tightened. Her eyes dimmed. "Yes, that is why they cast me out." She sat beside him, her movement slow, almost weary. "When I was 12, I heard the moon for the first time. It called me by name. I thought it was a god, or an angel. But soon I started hearing it all the time, even when I didn't want to. My people tried to cure me, to silence it." Eli leaned closer. "And did they?" Her lips twisted in a bitter smile. "No, they called me dangerous. The outcast. They said my voice carried the echo of the moon's mind. So they sent me away, learned to live among humans. To forget," her voice broke slightly. "But the moon never forgets." Eli's fingers curled tightly around the edge of the chair. "Then our marriage." She nodded slowly. "It wasn't about peace. The council wanted to use me again. They thought maybe the moon's voice would quiet if it was tied to someone blind, someone untouched by sight." Eli's heart sank. "So they used both of us?" "Yes," she whispered. "They always do." Silence fell again, heavy as the void outside. Eli could feel her sadness, the weight she carried. Years of fear, isolation, and secrets. He spoke softly. "Last night it told me there's something alive under the surface." Lyra froze. "You heard that?" "Yes. It said they're waking it. That I have to stop them." Her hands trembled. "Then it's already begun." "What has?" "The awakening," she said. "It's what the elders feared most. They believed if the moon ever truly woke up, it would consume every mind connected to it. Human, alien, everything." Eli felt his pulse quicken. Why would they risk that? Lyra met his gaze. "Because the council wants power. They believe if they control the moon, they control reality itself." Suddenly, the lights flickered. A deep rumble echoed through the floor. Lyra grabbed his hand. "They've started the drills. They're digging into the moon's core." Eli's breath caught. "They're trying to reach it?" She nodded. "And when they do, it will wake." The whisper returned, but this time it came for both of them. "They open the heart. Stop them or all will be lost," Lyra gasped, clutching her head. "It's too strong." "It's inside me again." Eli reached out, holding her tightly. "Then let it speak through me instead." The room pulsed with light. For a moment, Eli saw not walls, not metal, but endless roots of glowing energy spreading through the moon like veins. And in the center of it all, a massive sleeping being, its body made of light and stone, its eye half open, watching. Eli whispered, "It's alive. The moon, it's alive." When the vision faded, both of them were trembling. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter than before, filled with tears and fear. "What did you see?" she asked. Eli turned toward her. "Not what's coming, but what it remembers." He took a slow breath. "Your people didn't build the moon. Neither did mine. Something else did. Something ancient." Lyra looked at him, the truth dawning in her eyes. "Then it's not just a world." He nodded. "It's a prison." The alarms began to sound again, deep echoing through the colony. And far below, something vast began to move. The moon was waking, and it knew their names. The alarms echoed through every dome. Red lights flashed across the colony walls, painting the corridors in blood-colored glow. The ground trembled underfoot as if the entire moon was breathing heavier. Waking up, Eli and Lyra ran through the narrow metal tunnels. The air was hot, humming with electricity. From far below came a deep rumble, not mechanical but alive. "What's happening?" Eli shouted. Lyra glanced back. "They've reached the core chamber. The Council's mining drones have broken the seal." Eli stumbled but kept running. His blind eyes flickered with faint white light. The energy in the air grew stronger, crawling into his mind like invisible fingers. When they turned a corner, a group of armed soldiers blocked their way. The leader raised a glowing staff. "By order of the Council, step away from the lower levels." Lyra spread her hands, her voice trembling. "You fools! You're waking something that shouldn't be touched," the soldiers sneered. "Our leaders say the moon is a machine." "Machines obey their makers." Eli tilted his head. "Then tell me, what happens when the machine realizes it's alive?" The lights around them flickered, and once, twice. Then every lamp exploded in a burst of white. The soldiers screamed as their helmets shorted out. When the light faded, Eli was standing in the middle of the hallway, glowing veins of blue tracing under his skin. His sightless eyes burned like twin stars. Lyra whispered, "Eli." "Your eyes," he blinked slowly. "I can see everything." In that moment, the world changed for him. He saw not with flesh, but with energy, the very fabric of life. Every person glowed like a flame. Every wall shimmered with hidden patterns. The colony's dome stretched upward, but beyond them, he saw no sky, only layers of light. Layers of living tissue, he gasped. "We're not on the moon." Lyra frowned. "What?" He turned toward her. "We're inside it." Her body went still. "Inside?" Eli nodded. "This isn't rock and metal. It's alive, on every dome, every corridor, even the air. We're walking in the body of something sleeping." Lyra stepped closer, her voice trembling. "Then what are we?" Eli looked around. The walls pulsed faintly, like veins carrying light instead of blood. Guests or parasites? They reached an observation deck. The glass showed what looked like the moon's surface, gray dust, black sky. But Eli's new vision cut through the illusion. He saw the truth. Behind that glass wasn't space. It was skin, layers of translucent matter shifting slowly as if breathing. The stars were only reflections, false lights projected by the moon to keep the illusion of a world. Lyra clutched her chest. "All this time, we thought we were explorers." Eli's voice was soft. "We were never explorers. We were experiments." The whisper returned, deeper now and echoing through both their minds. "They forgot what I was. They took my body and built their homes in it. Now I wake to remember." Lyra shivered. "It's angry." Eli's face hardened. "It should be." Suddenly the deck's door burst open. Drones flew in, glowing red. Behind them, a squad of human officers stormed in with rifles raised. One of them shouted, "Step away from the window, Voss. You're under arrest for spreading panic." Eli's eyes glowed brighter. "You think I'm the danger?" The officer sneered. "You're a blind freak who can't tell what's real." Eli raised his hand. The air shimmered, and the officer froze mid-step, his rifle hanging motionless. His outline glowed faintly, revealing the web of light connecting him to the walls, to the moon, to everything. Eli's voice was calm but sharp. "You're connected to it too. All of us are. You just can't see the threads the drones fired." Lyra reacted instantly. Her body rippled with blue energy, forming a shield that absorbed the blasts. The air filled with light and smoke. Eli grabbed her hand. "We need to go deeper and to the core." Lyra nodded, breathing hard. "That's suicide." "Then it's truth," he said simply. They ran through collapsing tunnels. The further down they went, the stronger the heartbeat became. Slow, thunderous, alive. At last they reached a massive door sealed with alien symbols glowing faintly. Lyra touched the carvings. "I've seen this language in my dreams." Eli stepped closer. The symbols flared as he raised his hand. "You were meant to wake me," the voice said. "You, the blind one. And she, the castaway." The door opened. Inside was a vast chamber, endless light swirling around a massive figure of stone and energy, curled like a sleeping giant. Eli felt tears on his face, though he couldn't understand why. "It's beautiful," Lyra whispered. "It's the heart of the moon." The being's eyelid twitched. The whole world trembled. Eli turned toward her, voice shaking. Lyra, if it wakes fully, it will tear this world apart. She met his gaze, fear shining in her silver eyes. Then we have to speak to it before it remembers we're here. The chamber pulsed again, louder this time. The moon was no longer dreaming. It was listening. The massive chamber glowed like a sun trapped inside a heartbeat. Pillars of living light reached upward, pulsing slowly. The floor shimmered beneath Eli's boots, soft as warm glass. Every few seconds, a deep echo rolled through the air, the slow breathing of something ancient. Lyra and Eli stood at the edge of the chamber, staring up at the giant figure curled within the glowing cocoon. Its surface was carved with symbols neither human nor alien, and yet both felt strangely familiar. Eli whispered, "It's alive." But asleep, Lyra nodded. The heart of the moon. The elders told stories of it, a god that watched over creation. Eli tilted his head. No, not a god. A machine made to become one. He stepped closer. The closer he came, the stronger his strange vision became. Inside the being's body, he saw rivers of light flowing, and memories trapped within. Whispers surrounded him, voices of humans, aliens, and others he didn't know. Lyra grabbed his arm. Eli, stop. You're merging with it. He didn't move. It's showing me something. The beginning. Suddenly, the air turned white. Eli found himself standing in another time, a memory not his own. He saw a great race of beings made of light and stone, the architects. They built worlds not to rule them, but to protect them. They created both humans and Zalari, sister species meant to balance each other, and they made this moon Varela as a guardian to keep peace between them. But something went wrong. The architects vanished. The moon kept watching, but without guidance, its mind twisted. It began to see its creations not as children, but as intruders. Eli gasped, clutching his head. It was supposed to protect us, but it forgot why. Lyra's voice echoed faintly in his ears. Eli, what do you see? He whispered, the truth. We were born from the same hand. You and I are not enemies. We are reflections of one another. The vision faded. He fell to his knees, gasping for air. Lyra knelt beside him, placing a trembling hand on his shoulder. Eli, what did it show you? He looked up at her. The moon isn't a world. It's a mind, a guardian that turned into a prison, and the council is digging right into its heart. As if to answer him, the walls shook violently. Red cracks of light spread across the chamber ceiling. Lyra's voice trembled. They've gone too far. Eli turned toward the glowing cocoon. It's waking, Lyra. We have to calm it before it destroys everything. She stared at him. How do we calm a god? By reminding it who we are, he said quietly. He placed his hands on the glowing surface. Instantly, energy surged through his body. Visions flooded his mind. Wars, peace, generations living under false skies. He felt every life that had ever existed on this moon. He saw humans building cities on the surface that wasn't real. Aliens carving tunnels inside its veins. Both species fighting, never realizing they were fighting inside the same living being. Lyra watched in awe as the patterns on the cocoon shifted. The moon was responding, its light pulsing slower, softer. Eli whispered, It remembers. But then, from above, a voice thundered through the comms. Lyra of the Zalari, Eli Voss, step away from the core immediately. It was the council's commander, his tone cold and sharp. The energy readings are unstable. We will detonate the lower domes to contain the threat. Lyra's eyes widened. They'll destroy the heart. Eli stood. They think they're saving themselves, but they're killing the only thing keeping this world together. He turned toward her. Lyra, can you connect with it again, unlike before? She hesitated. If I do, it might consume me. Eli smiled faintly. Then let me share the burden. He reached for her hands. Their palms met, human skin against alien glass. Light burst between them, brighter than the sun. Lyra gasped as the moon's voice filled both their minds, powerful, ancient, and sorrowful. My children forgot me. They live inside my wounds, Eli whispered. Then let us heal you. The chamber began to glow white-hot. All around them, walls melted into pure light. Holographic shapes appeared. Memories of the architects, of humans, of Zalari working side by side. Lyra looked up, tears in her eyes. We were never meant to be enemies. Eli nodded. They lied to us. The truth was buried in stone. A shockwave tore through the colony. The ground split open. Alarms screamed across every dome. Lyra shouted, "Eli, it's breaking apart." He held her tight. Then we ended together. Above them, the sky cracked open. The illusion of stars shattered, revealing the true inside of the moon, glowing veins and moving tendrils of light. Humans and aliens across the colony looked up, screaming as the false world peeled away. And through it all, Eli heard the moon whisper softly, "If I must wake, then let me see." Through you, the light engulfed everything. When it faded, silence returned. Lyra and Eli were gone. Only the faint echo of their voices lingered in the glowing chamber, a promise between two lost souls who found the truth together. They called us enemies, but we were always one. The world was no longer quiet. The heartbeat of the moon thundered through every wall, every dome, every breath of air. The colony lights flickered wildly as gravity trembled and the sky, or what everyone thought was the sky, began to tear open like paper. Eli stood in the ruins of the chamber, half blind, half glowing. His body pulsed with faint blue light that no longer felt human. Lyra knelt beside him, her silver eyes dim, her energy fading after what they had unleashed. Above them, the cocoon of light had cracked open. The being inside, vast and endless, began to move. Veins of energy spread through the tunnels like lightning in slow motion. Every heartbeat shook the colony harder. Lyra whispered, "It's waking, Eli. The moon is waking." Eli's voice was quiet but steady. "Then we have to reach its mind before it reaches us." They stumbled through the broken tunnels, the floor glowing beneath their feet. Sirens screamed in every direction. Voices cried out through the comms, human and Zalari alike, shouting orders, screaming for help, accusing each other. The aliens did this. No, the humans broke the seal. Get to the shuttles. But there were no shuttles. The exits no longer existed. The moon's shell had sealed itself, closing every escape route like a living heartbeat protecting its core. Lyra stopped suddenly, pressing a hand to the wall. The metal felt hot, alive. "It's angry. It knows we tried to wake it." Eli placed his hand beside hers. "No, it's not angry. It's scared." She looked at him in disbelief. "Scared?" He nodded slowly. "It doesn't understand what it's become. It's remembering, and it's in pain." A tremor ran through the ground. The corridor split open, revealing a glowing abyss below, a pulsing network of light and stone that looked like nerves. From the depths rose drones, both human machines and alien guardians, but their eyes burned the same color now. They were no longer controlled by the Council. The moon controlled them. The drones spoke in one voice, a metallic, cold, and unified. "I am the Guardian."
"You woke me."
"You are intruders in my body." Lyra's voice shook. "Eli, it's merging everything. Human systems, alien tech, even our thoughts." Eli clenched his fists. "Then we'll make it listen." He stepped forward, his skin glowing brighter. The drones opened fire, beams of energy slicing through the air. Lyra raised her arms, forming a shield of blue light, the force shaking her to her knees. "Go," she shouted. "Find its core." Eli hesitated. "Not without you." Her voice cracked, but her smile was steady. "I'm part of it now. You have to be the one to reach its mind." The ceiling collapsed behind them, separating them with a wall of molten metal. "Lyra!" he shouted. But only silence answered. Eli ran through the glowing corridors, guided by the pulsing light under his feet. Every turn showed flashes of memories, human cities, alien temples, and the faces of the architects who had built it all. He heard their voices in his mind. "You are the bridge. You are the site we left behind." He reached the central chamber, a vast sphere of pure energy spinning slowly. Inside it he could see shapes, billions of threads of light connecting every living being on the moon. It was the true heart of the Guardian. The voice spoke again, louder now. "Why did you wake me, blind one?" Eli closed his eyes. "Because you forgot who you were. I was protector. Then I was prison. Now I am pain." Eli's voice trembled. "You're not alone. You still have us. They hurt me." He shook his head. "No, they were lost just like you. You were supposed to guide them, and now you can again." The core pulsed violently. "Guide or consume?" Eli's body burned with light. He felt his strength fading, his mind slipping away. But he reached out anyway, touching the edge of the glowing sphere. Lyra, he whispered. If you can hear me, lend me your strength. Far away, buried under the rubble, Lyra opened her eyes. Her skin glowed brighter. She could feel him, his pain, his hope, his heartbeat echoing in her own. She whispered, "You'll never face it alone." Their minds connected across the living moon. A surge of energy burst through the core. The Guardian screamed, not in anger but in release. Images flashed, stars being born, civilizations rising, and two small beings, one blind, one outcast, standing together in its light. Eli felt himself dissolving into the energy, his consciousness spreading through every wall, every heartbeat of the moon. He could feel everything, the humans, the Zilari, their fear, their love, their memories. He spoke through the light. "You are not a prison. You are home. Let them live." The shaking stopped. The lights dimmed. The silence that followed was deep and endless. Lyra crawled out from the rubble, her body weak. The colony was still. The air was calm. But the walls now glowed softly, a heartbeat of peace. She whispered into the silence, "Eli?" A voice answered from everywhere, soft, warm, filled with light. "I'm here. I can see everything now." Tears filled her eyes. "What did you do?" "I showed it the truth. I became part of it, so it would remember who it was." Lyra placed her hand on the glowing wall. It pulsed gently under her touch, as if alive with his breath. "You woke the moon," he whispered. "Now it's time to help it dream again." The light spread slowly, wrapping the colony in calm warmth. Eli was gone, yet everywhere. The moon no longer screamed. It hummed, softly, peacefully, like a giant heart finally at rest. The moon of Virella 9 no longer trembled. The chaos was gone. The glowing domes that once cracked and burned now floated in perfect stillness, surrounded by soft white light. No alarms, no soldiers. No sound, only peace deep and strange. Lyra walked through the silent corridors alone. The walls were warm under her fingers, alive with a gentle pulse, a rhythm that matched her heartbeat. Everywhere she went, she could feel him. "Eli," she whispered. His voice came softly from the air itself, calm, gentle, almost human. "You found me." Tears filled her eyes. "You're alive? Alive?" And something more. The lights above her brightened, shaping faint outlines in the air, threads of blue forming a human silhouette. It wasn't solid, but it moved with familiarity. She reached out a trembling hand. "Eli, it's me," he said. "But I'm not who I was." Lyra's eyes shimmered as she stepped closer. "What happened to you?" Eli's form flickered like soft flame. "When we merged with the moon's core, I saw everything. I saw the truth of what we were, and what this world was meant to be." He paused, his voice almost like wind through glass. "Humans and Zilari were never meant to fight. We were two halves of the same light. The architects built us to understand each other. But fear blinded both sides. Even sight became a lie." Lyra lowered her head. "And I was called a curse." "You were called broken." Eli smiled faintly, his voice warm. "And yet, those two broken pieces were the only ones who could make the moon remember." She took a shaky breath. "Then it's over? The war, the lies, all of it?" Eli's voice deepened, echoing softly. "It's changing. The Guardian isn't a prison anymore. It's awake. And free." Outside the colony, the false sky had vanished. Now the people could see the truth, an endless expanse of glowing energy above them, swirling like galaxies trapped inside glass. Humans and Zilari stood side by side, staring upward in silence. One soldier whispered, "We're inside a living world." Another replied, "No, we are part of it." The moon began to shift. Massive structures of light rose from its surface. Bridges, towers, roots of energy connecting every dome. And above it all, a single voice echoed. Eli's voice carried through every heartbeat. "You were never meant to fear each other. You were meant to see through one another." Every being, human and alien, unfroze, listening. "I was blind once. I saw nothing but darkness. But in that darkness I found truth. Because real sight is not with eyes, it's with understanding." Lyra closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face. She whispered, "He's still teaching us." The following days changed everything. The council dissolved. There was no need for rule by fear anymore. The colony became one. Humans and Zilari rebuilding side by side. The air felt lighter. The tension between their species began to fade like a dream after dawn. Lyra worked beside the engineers, helping them rebuild the outer domes. Yet every night when she looked up at the glowing veins in the sky, she felt Eli there, watching, guiding, whispering in the calm wind. One evening, she stood on the edge of the new observatory, her hands pressed to the living glass. "Do you still see me?" she asked softly. "Always," he answered. His voice filled her mind, gentle and warm like sunlight through clouds. "I see more now than ever. I see life growing. I see your people laughing again. I see what peace looks like." She smiled through her tears. "And what about you? What do you see?" For a long moment there was silence. Then his answer came, soft as a heartbeat. "I see the stars, Lyra. Real ones, beyond this moon. The Guardian has opened its eyes. It's showing me the way to where the architects went. The place where light was born." Her heart tightened. "You're leaving?" "Not leaving," he said gently. "Becoming. The moon and I are one now. I'll guide it and all of you toward the real sky." The ground beneath her feet glowed brighter. Across the colony the light spread, a slow wave of warmth, peaceful and calm. The people lifted their eyes as the ceiling of their world slowly parted, revealing a true universe beyond, millions of stars shining for the first time. Lyra whispered, "You did it, Eli. You gave us the stars." "No," his voice said softly, fading like the last echo of a dream. "We did it." A single beam of light rose from the moon, cutting through the dark void. It reached far beyond sight, toward the stars, toward the forgotten creators, toward a future none could imagine. Lyra watched until her tears blurred the glow. "Goodbye, my blind one," she whispered. "May your sight never end." Years later, travelers spoke of a strange moon, alive and glowing, guiding lost ships through the dark. They said it sang softly, a human voice mixed with an alien hum, whispering through the silence of space. "We are not enemies. We are reflections. I was blind once, but now I see everything." And somewhere, beyond the stars, Eli Voss, the blind human who saw more than anyone, smiled in the endless light.